and protect all of these countries, especially when they're not there to help us.
He noted that roughly 39,000 American troops are stationed there and said the U.S. cannot continue protecting allies that are unwilling to help in return. Authorities are searching for a black inmate who removed his GPS monitor and escaped a Los Angeles County reentry facility. 28-year-old Dejon Snell was last seen Sunday near Grand Avenue and 37th Street. He is serving a 6-year sentence for carjacking and robbery. And the Tupac Shakur murder trial is underway in Las Vegas. Prosecutors say Dwayne Keefe D. Davis helped arm the shooters, while his defense calls the case fiction and disputes details tied to his book. Davis faces life in prison if convicted. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Is this the time?
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NBA concluded Monday that there is no evidence that Clippers owner Steve Ballmer funneled money through multiple companies to pay Kawhi Leonard extra money on top of his $50 million salary. The NBA hired an investigative firm to see if Ballmer had violated the league's salary cap rules. Although Ballmer appears to be cleared of any wrongdoing at the moment, the NBA is still investigating the Clippers to determine if and how Leonard was introduced to these companies. Leonard reportedly received as much as $28 million from alleged endorsement deals with at least 3 companies. One of the companies belonged to Ballmer before it went out of business last year and filed for bankruptcy. In the meantime, the trade on June 30th that sent Leonard to Toronto remains on hold until the investigation is completed. Stay tuned on this situation. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. My big mama used to say that there are 24 hours in a day, 12 hours to mind your business, and 12 hours to leave other folks' business alone. So, let's talk about our business, Crenshaw business. For over 5 years now, the good people of the Crenshaw corridor have lived in a gated community, but not by choice. Gates, fences, barricades, limited street access, closed lots, and then some. By now, you've heard the stories from the folk who've lived this nightmare. Business owners have lost customers. A charter school lost students. A veterinarian lost clients. Churches have lost members. And still, Procrastination Crenshaw sits unfinished. And when I say sits unfinished, I mean sits unfinished. Nobody was seduced by the Jedi mind trick they tried to play when they ran that headline on the front page of a local black newspaper about the project restarting in weeks. I mean, come see for yourself. The only trucks on Crenshaw are deconstruction trucks. It took a minute, but to her credit, LA Mayor Karen Bass showed up and she's leaning in on getting our parking back. But think about this for just a second. LA is not Chocolate City, and yet we are blessed to have a black mayor and a black city council president. But where is the black city council president? Where is Marquise Harris Dawson? This is his project in his district, but he has been strangely quiet. Did you notice in the recent Los Angeles Times story about Procrastination Crenshaw that neither Marquise Harris Dawson nor Destination Crenshaw had a word to say on the record? The silence was deafening. When people ask me why the silence, all I can say is, good question. As a reminder, the Crenshaw Corridor community sent him a letter, and it laid out real demands. A public timeline, relief for the businesses that have suffered, and an audit. At the moment, the last one matters most, the audit. Here's the thing, the foundation money, the private donations, that's their business. But this project is also funded by city money, state money, and federal money. I refer you back to the front page story in that black newspaper where they all talked about this. Go read it again. In any event, it's your money. And when public money goes into a $100 million project that still sits unfinished, the public has a right to see where every dollar went. Contracts, budgets, payments, schedules. That's not too much to ask. Again, it's your money. Our letter gave Mr. Harris Dawson a deadline, Friday, September 4th, to respond. The clock is ticking, Mr. President. 12 hours to mind the public's business. And this is one of them. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, We welcome your feedback.
How did you want it?
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First, and my first thing every day is prayer, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. Man, it's a busy season, and I'm glad we're here together. I'm glad we can do this. And this today is a Talking Point Tuesday. This is when we try to debunk, deflate, or flip around the talking points that don't serve us, don't serve our community, and sometimes we don't even know where they came from. I will ask you to help out in that project. You're always invited in at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. It also happens to be a primary day in Florida and Alaska. I feel like every week is a primary day, but of course we are in that season all the way up and through November. So the way we do things on a Tuesday, hour one, we look left coast, what's going on around here as it connects to the world. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive on a hot topic, person or persons of interest. We are on point with that today. Right now, it's me, you, the microphone, telephone, your Twitter fingers, your Instagram thumbs, whatever you got going on. And you can call me on the old-fashioned landline at 800-920-1580. Hour two, I'll be joined by my colleague, Dr. Nee Cordelai-Corte, who can give us a clearer picture of all these various primaries, not just the two today, but the last couple and where they leave us ahead of November. And, of course, you're invited in to that conversation as well. In hour three, we will look at what is the real story behind the LA Jazz Festival's collapse, demise, postponement. What is it really? What actually happened? As you probably know, I am on the board of the LA Jazz Festival Foundation, which is the charitable arm of that enterprise. And I will be joined by Martin Ludlow, the visionary behind that. And he's going to do a deep dive on what really happened, what's really happening as it's still in motion. And I'll be taking your questions and your phone calls as per usual. So we got a lot to get to today, and I'm glad that we can do it together. My. Did you see the story yesterday? There was a poll that came out, I think it was, I'm going to say, end of last week, that showed Mayor Karen Bass ahead in the race for her reelection by like 12 points. It was a double-digit lead. It was a big story. And now the company behind that poll is saying that it wasn't true, that it was a fake poll. And I smell a rat. Um, you know, there's so much to unbox here if you really look at it. This company claims that the poll, they did the poll knowing it was fake because they were trying to show that how quickly information can get into the public sphere and how quickly it can be spread around the internet. And why? I mean, first of all, why? Now they're called median strategies. Now they say they're getting out of the polling business and that all of their polls, past or present, are just to be ignored. They said that their polling project will not publish additional polls. I smell a rat. Why would you, your little social experiment, why would you target the LA mayor's race? Just in particular, why would you decide, out of all the primaries in all the country and all the world, you just thought you'd do a fake poll about a black woman running for re-election and then pull it so that she could look bad? Really? That's what you decided? Even though she had nothing to do with that poll. It wasn't her poll. She didn't pay for it. She didn't commission it. But of course, she's going to talk about it. Anyone would talk about polling that shows that they're doing well. That's the nature of politics, radio, corporate culture, anything, right? That's just what people do. The Rahman campaign is jumping on it saying they published the poll without vetting it. Okay. So what you're telling me is that your campaign independently verifies and audits every single poll, no matter any poll, before you tout it? I seriously doubt that. I've worked on enough campaigns. I'm not a campaign strategist, but I've worked on, been around, been behind the scenes of enough campaigns to know that they don't say, oh, let's independently verify this poll. Not favorable polls. They now say it wasn't even a poll. Can we get an investigation? Let me tell you, if I had the means, I would be investigating who's behind this median strategies. Who the owners of this company, who are they friends of? And who do they back in the race for LA mayor? It's just a little too convenient. Of course, the mayor deleted her post where she had put it up there. And her campaign spokesperson said any bad faith attempts to influence elections should be investigated and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I do agree. I don't know. Why would it seems really fishy to me. Anyway, if this is what we're doing, if this is what we are doing in this campaign cycle, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. I don't see how it cannot be if that's the direction that we are going here in LA, and it appears that we are, just based on some of the posts and back and forth that I have seen so far. And we haven't even, it's not even after Labor Day yet when this stuff really starts in earnest. It's not just politics, it's arts, culture, it's relationships, it's how doggone hot it's going to be today, tomorrow, and the next day. All of that is on the table. That's what we do around here. First things first. Whatever your first thing is, I'd love to hear from you always at 800-920-1580. Part 2, or maybe Part 5 of an possibly infinite heat wave is upon us today. So hydrate. Find a cooling station, wear itty bitty clothes, whatever you got to do to feel comfortable. It's about to be hot today, tomorrow, and the next day. And don't play with matches. I mean, it's weird hot. It's humid hot. I don't know if that's El Nino, I don't know what that is, but it is hot. It reminds me of New Jersey when I would go home to visit my dad. So, we'd all be sleeping in the basement because it was so humid and hot and muggy. This is not LA hot. This is some climate emergency kind of weather. In any case, the cooling stations, you can call 311. You can get a list. You can go to libraries. They welcome you in on hot days like this. Maybe you'll read a book, get a little smarter, but even if you don't, there's air conditioning and Wi-Fi, okay? Yeah, we're in the middle of another midweek blaze, so get ready. And we do have a lot to talk about. The district attorney had a press conference yesterday regarding Keith Porter. We'll look at that and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
Seriously speaking, every Saturday when I hear the program about Altadena and how it may not come back, that's happening to us. This is the largest land grab since the gold rush in California. We have an EDD property, 59,000 square feet. Our elected representative determined that she should write a bill that would declare it to be surplus. So now guess what we're getting? Affordable housing. So I hope that we can start listening to one another, because there is a domino effect. If you don't care about us, guess what? We won't be here and then you won't be here.
Not letting them get away with anything. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-729-7070. That's 1-800-729-7070. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-729-7070. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now we're back to me, and we're back to you at 800-920-1580. So after months, literally months, because this happened on New Year's Eve, when a person who lived in the same building as Keith Porter murdered him, that person happened to be an off-duty ICE agent. Yesterday, the district attorney's office met with the family, met with Keith Porter's mom. Keith Porter is a black American, born and raised, no kind of immigration anything. Not that that should make you more or less eligible to be murdered by law enforcement, but just for the record. He was allegedly shooting into the air in his apartment complex. And this guy, Palacios, who also lived in the complex, allegedly told him to stop. He then called it in saying the guy was an active shooter, but he goes back into his apartment, puts on his ice gear, comes back out, and shoots Keith Porter dead. Porter was allegedly, at the time, reportedly done. He had been shooting off in a parking lot where people weren't around. He was walking back towards his apartment, and he was killed. Now, the community is the one that outed this Palacios guy, Brian Palacios. They, because he had his own problems with his own baby's mother, and he had been accused of, I don't know, child abuse, I think. Yeah, child abuse. That they actually were the ones that outed him, and then people, including various news agencies and community activist organizations like Black Lives Matter Grassroots, BLMLA, put the word out, and then the press reported after they did their own whatever they did, that it was this guy Brian Palacios. And the community and the family have been calling for this guy Palacios to be arrested, charged, fired, anything, and we've heard nothing. Well, yesterday the DA's office did meet with the family. Hochman's office said, they don't usually meet with victims' families this early in an investigation. He didn't call them victims. Those are my words. But that given how high profile this case is, and given the repeated request of the attorney in the case, Jamal Tucson, that they decided to go ahead and meet with the family. What's interesting is they have not committed to bringing charges. The family is asking for a grand jury here. And Hochman said they haven't made that determination yet. They're still trying to claim that Keith Porter shot at this guy. But I'm quite convinced that if there was evidence that that had happened, the LAPD would have trumpeted it all over the world. You know how they love to talk about the victims of law enforcement violence and smear their characters. So I seriously doubt that is the case, especially, firing into the air to celebrate on New Year's is not an active shooter. You might not like it. It might be illegal, but it happens all the time, and those people are not considered active shooters. So they're saying that, and that was, Homeland Security, which every single case of them killing people, citizens and not, they always say the officer feared for their life, and the person was trying to kill the officer, either the ICE person, either with a vehicle or a gun or, I don't know, magic spell. I don't know. They're always justifying it. So that is not convincing. It's interesting that the LA Times says a law enforcement official had told them that detectives found evidence of 2 bullets behind where Palacios was standing, but we have never heard that claim again. And they don't say, in this latest article, they don't say what law enforcement agency told them that. Was it the LAPD? Was it Homeland Security? Was it the Sheriff's Department? Who was it, and why have we never heard about that again? The attorney says, that presenting the case to the grand jury would be the best case forward. And the district attorney hasn't said no. He hasn't said yes, but he hasn't said no. And I think that this is an indication, in my opinion, that the protesting, the fact that we keep saying his name, the fact that Angelenos and others who protest ICE, once they started finding out about this case, continue to ask for answers, continue to say his name, are not letting this just go under the carpet. And so the DA is saying he hasn't ruled out a grand jury. He's calling on more witnesses to come forward if they haven't come forward yet. And he met with the family. So this is at least a good sign. Their attorney says there were no eyewitnesses. Now, I was there, not at the shooting, obviously. Right. I'm not, what's his name? Scott Jennings, who claims he was talking to Mitch McConnell. I wasn't there at the shooting. I was there at the vigil that they did for Keith Porter shortly after he was murdered. And one of the remarkable things about it was that it was packed with people. There were a lot of black people. There were a lot of Latinos. There were some white folks. This guy, Keith Porter, was very popular in his building and at his job. A lot of the Latino folks that were there who got there early, who were there with flowers, who were crying, mourning this guy, worked with him at the Home Depot. And then the white folks that were there were people from the building that knew him. And a couple that didn't know him that were just very distressed at what had happened. And then, of course, his family, his extended family, Black Lives Matter LA. His cousin is a member of that organization. And a lot of the people in the building were really skeptical about what happened because they were saying that, you know, they didn't hear anything and it didn't make any sense. And people, you know, talking about his character and what a wonderful person he was, what a, you know, the kind of guy that just helped anyone that needed help. And that was the thing that struck me from his people, his coworkers at the job, his family, and the people from the building that did know him. So, you know, I think that, I don't know, the LAPD's completed their investigation, which means that the DA could bring charges if he wanted to. And I don't know what witnesses, you know, he's talked to and who he hasn't. If he's talked to all of those folks that were there at that vigil or not. But they need to charge this guy. It's, you know what it's reminding me of? It's reminding me of George Zimmerman. Because if you look back to the Trayvon Martin case, Zimmerman was running around for a long time with no charges being filed. He was not arrested until we, the people, started talking about it, right? I mean, if you think back at now, you know, it seems like, oh yeah, of course there was a trial and everyone was talking about it. Even the president weighed in. But it was the activists on the ground there, the dream keepers there in Florida, the family and others who wouldn't let it go, who kept protesting, who kept calling for the arrest of this guy. And even though he got off, there never would have been a trial. There never would have been a conversation. Even, you know, the founding of Black Lives Matter was largely inspired by the activism in the wake of his murder. So it's reminding me of that, because if it wasn't for the community and Black Lives Matter LA and the family and the attorney just not giving up and refusing to stop saying Keith Porter, Keith Porter, Keith Porter, then this would have been already swept under the carpet. There would be no conversation about it. We would not be having a press conference with the DA yesterday saying he's thinking about convening a grand jury. And so I say all of that to say that we have to keep it up. We have to keep, you know, look, commenting under every post about ICE murders, Keith Porter, say his name, commenting, you know, to the DA, who has a very robust social media presence, or writing emails to them, or writing to, you know, your council members, that, heck, the police chief, that they conducted an investigation. Why aren't they pressing for charges? Like, all of these folks are worth reaching out to, because we still need justice for Keith Porter. News, traffic, and sports, then more. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Tupac Shakur murder trial is now underway in Las Vegas. Prosecutors say Dwayne Keefe D. Davis orchestrated the rapper's 1996 killing. Chief Deputy District Attorney Binu Palau.
Dwayne Davis made sure that the shooters were armed.
Defense attorneys argue the case is built on unreliable claims and fabricated details. Davis faces life in prison if convicted. A teenager charged in a shooting at Virginia State University has made his first court appearance. 19-year-old Cameron Harris is accused of injuring 5 people, and court documents link social media messages to the case. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for December. And Grammy-winning singer Jennifer Hudson will headline the 2026 Promise of Hope Gala, hosted by City of Hope, Orange County. The October fundraiser in Irvine will support cancer research, treatment, and patient care programs across the region. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
There's a problem with the Lakers' $12.5 billion sale to Joshua Kushner and former Disney chairman Bob Iger. Jeanie Buss, who owns 17.8% of the Lakers, is refusing to give up her percentage of the franchise. A court order in 2017 gave Jeanie and her 4 siblings the right to block any sale of the Lakers without their approval. The 4 siblings have agreed to give up their percentage, but Jeanie is holding out. The court order indicates that all 5 children of former Lakers owner Jerry Buss must agree to give up their percentage. Jeanie has gotten her lawyer involved and is prepared to go to court to resolve the matter. One of the issues is that Jeanie wants to remain the Lakers representative at the NBA Board of Governors meetings. The Dodgers pulled away for an 11-5 win at Colorado Monday night. 2 homers by Shohei Ohtani, a 3-run shot by Max Muncy. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
You ready?
Drop it. 2 shows, 1 Friday. All Amanda Seals. What's up, y'all? Catch me here on KBLA Talk 1580. First from noon to 2 p.m. And if you miss me, I'm back 4 to 6 p.m. See, this is where the conversation gets real. Ooh, and it gets good. So don't miss it. Fridays only on KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dionne Raymond, Justice Correspondent and host of the Justice Files. For years, LA City Councilman Curran Price has served his district. And for years, he's been under a legal cloud which, frankly, looks thinner every time it's tested in court. Last Friday, a Superior Court judge refused to throw out the corruption case against Price. That's true. But listen to what the judge actually said while doing it. Judge Larry Paul Fiddler called this not a great case. Not our words, his. Price's attorney, standing right there in the courtroom, said it plainly. In denying our motion, the court acknowledged that this is not a great case. We agree. Now, that's not a ringing endorsement of a prosecution. That's a judge saying, essentially, there's just enough here to send it to a jury. Barely. The ruling itself says nothing about guilt. It's not proof of wrongdoing. What it is a low bar, cleared by a thin margin on evidence the court itself has called circumstantial. Councilman Price has pleaded not guilty. He denies the allegations. And after 3 terms representing his district, he's term limited and on his way out of office, regardless of how this case ends. Which raises a fair question. What exactly is served? By dragging a longtime champion for working families in South Los Angeles through a trial that even the presiding judge doesn't sound confident about. We're not saying elected officials should not be held accountable. They should. But accountability means something different from a prosecution that struggles to convince the very judge overseeing it. Curran Price deserves his day in court, and he deserves the presumption of innocence any one of us would want for ourselves or a loved one, especially when the bench itself has doubts. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Dionne Raymond, Justice Correspondent and host of the Justice Files. As always, we welcome your feedback.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, I do appreciate you. I appreciate you waking up with me. The trial, they call it the trial of Tupac Shakur, the murder trial. It's really the trial of Duane Davis. I mean, because Tupac is no longer with us. Rest in peace. This happened 30 years ago. They did opening statements on yesterday. Prosecutors say it was all about, a gang rivalry. And I guess, again, you wonder, okay, if you know all this, why is it coming now? Why is this coming out now? They're saying that Mr. Davis ordered the murder of Tupac. They're also saying that Pac was conscious after he was shot when he was on his way to the hospital, but that he wasn't cooperating. That's what they're claiming. According to their first witness, Gary Dale, who is from your hometown, Miles, Las Vegas Metro police officer, who rode in the ambulance with him. At least that's what he says. And that he says that when he asked Tupac who shot him, Pac said, "No, we'll take care of it," and that he would refuse to speak any further. I know that there are a lot of documentaries and books and speculations about Pac's murder, and I've had my own private conversations with people that knew him really well, people from Vegas, people from here. But I can't say that I've read every... Do you read every book and watch every documentary about Tupac's murder?
Never have, never will.
Why?
It's watered down. I mean, I don't want to sound insensitive because you're doing more than I'm doing, but it feels insensitive and genuine. And I don't need to get into the weeds of everything to feel how I feel about the situation. It doesn't change anything about me at this point.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out why I don't, because I knew him and I was really, really sad. I think it's because I don't trust it.
Too.
It just seems like a bunch of blah, 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 blah. Like, if you really were going to tell the truth about what happened to Tupac, why did it take 30 years? And even the ones that, there's been documentaries and there's been articles and books in between those 30 years. But it's kind of, I just don't feel like we're getting the truth, the whole truth, even of what they actually know. And maybe that makes me a conspiracy theorist, but my gut says, nah, it's fishy as hell.
I'm right there with you. I'm not following this trial. I haven't been following the trial step by step like that. So, and I don't plan on, I don't plan on watching this whole episode to the very end. You know what I mean? I guess we'll see the results of it for sure, but I'm not attached to it at all.
Yeah. And, to his brother's point, none of it is going to bring Pac back, right? So, I don't know. I feel like I need to let you guys know this is happening and follow it to the extent of, anything that seems to come out that feels relevant. But basically they're saying the, 2 rival gangs in LA, and that's what led to it. Kind of the stuff we already have heard. I mean, I guess from Dwayne Keefe D himself, from various people speculating. I remember after my auntie, Kimako Jones, who was also AKA Sandra Elaine Jones, who was a Broadway actress and a dancer. My dad's sister, when she was murdered, and then again when my younger sister Shawnee was murdered, my dad would challenge, law enforcement. Why is it taking you so long? Isn't this what you do? And so again, 30 years later, it doesn't sound credible. But perhaps I'll follow a little closer this time since they've taken it to actual court. Yeah. I also think about this in terms of, people's lyrics now being used against them, and that's really popular in Georgia, but it's something we'll probably be seeing more and more of. And then in this case, this guy's book and all of his podcast and radio interviews and TV being used against him. And now he's denying that. I don't think that works. And I don't know, does this change the record? Does this change the official record? What will it take for us to really know what happened to Tupac, or Biggie for that matter? Why are these two crimes still largely unsolved? I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me, but FYI, the trial is well underway. And Selena says, I don't like stories with violent endings. Well, yeah, we don't, and NEC Courtney calls it fabricated narratives and the exploitation of another black man. And of course, it would be great if we could bring him back or bring some measure of relief to his family. But from what I'm hearing from them, they don't find that to be of comfort. That doesn't surprise me either. Okay, 30 years later. When my sister was murdered, the killer was on the loose for, I don't know, I'm going to say over a week, maybe a week and a half. It was excruciating, that week and a half. Like, where is this guy? Are they going to find him? We knew who it was. And I just can't even imagine for Pac's family 30 years of getting mixed stories and rumors and biopics and books, and everybody's got a theory, but nobody's coming to you with anything verifiable. I can't even imagine that week and a half of waiting for, some answers around my sister Shawnee felt like 10 years. So, if anything, I'm sending out prayers of love, light to the family of Tupac Shakur for sure right now, because they got to relive their trauma every time we do this. Miles, what do you make of Jeanie Buss holding up the sale of the Lakers? I find it kind of cool. I don't know I don't know anything about it. They're saying Ray Richardson just said it's that she wants to be their official spokesperson at the Board of Governors. I wonder if it has anything to do with who's buying it, who's buying them, and what the politics behind this are.
Yeah, I mean, just on the face of it, I mean, it's that's her daddy's legacy. I get it 100%. I get she still wants to be a part of it. I mean, look, Lakers brand, I don't see that. Even with LeBron leaving, you know what I mean? I don't see that being a dying brand going forward for this next decade, maybe 20 years. The NBA is still growing and expanding internationally. So I get her for trying to still be a part of it in some way, shape, or form, whether that be for the personal love of it or just from the financial point of it.
Well, I guess that what they're saying is that with the Dodgers owner, when he bought it, Mark Walter, she would have still been the representative. But now that Kushner and Bob Iger are buying it, and they would take the family's stake, then she would have been out. The deal they had, she would still represent for 5 years. But now with Kushner buying it, she would no longer have that agency to do that. She wouldn't be eligible. And there's 5 siblings, and they all 5 have to agree. That's funny because my mom, we don't have the Lakers. We have some poetry books. we own books of poetry, but the 5 of us all have to agree. Well, actually, no. We all 5. We don't have to have. You have to have 3 out of 5. They have to have a unanimous 5 to do anything. We would never get anything done if all 5 of us had to agree. Only 3 out of 5. But can she shut this down? I wonder. If she shuts down that 17% that's still owned by the 5 siblings, would that prevent the deal from going forward, or would they just go forward with Kushner and Iger? The deal still has to be approved by the Board of Governors for the NBA.
Yeah, I think that it's gonna. What it looks like to me is that it's just the family still owns a percentage of it.
Right,
and
17. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll still be over that 17% or 15%.
No, but that's they're trying to buy the 17%. Before, like Mark Walter, I guess they were going to keep that, but now the Kushner group wants the whole.
Want the whole thing?
Yeah, they want the whole thing, and the other 4 siblings have agreed to sell.
Right. So what I'm saying is, I think that what happened is, I think the deal still, even if Jeanie Buss holds tight and says, I'm going to hold on to this 15% and stop the deal from being the whole thing, I still think that she still may be a part of the team, even if they do end up selling it. But even if they don't end up selling it, I still see the team still being sold with her still holding 17%. Does that make sense? Does that make sense there?
You're saying that even if they do sell that, she could still be the face of it. That might be the compromise.
I think they'll still take the 83% regardless if Jeanie wants to hold on to it or not. I think the deal still goes on.
Yeah, and she's been fighting with her siblings anyway. They went to court about their trust and who controls what, and they created a new deal in 2017. So we'll see. It seems like, from what I'm reading, she has the power to stop that, which would mean the Kushner family would still have to have her as the face of the Lakers at the Board of Governors and for 5 years, and that I don't know, she would still have a pretty big footprint. A 17% share of the team is a powerful shareholder. I don't know. I know you're saying, even without LeBron, of course, the Lakers, were huge before LeBron. They'll be huge after LeBron. I just wonder about the whole Kushner thing and Iger thing for the brand, because I'm already hearing people on social media switching to the Clippers because they don't want to root for a team that's owned by the family of Trump's in-laws.
Basketball fans said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it, but that was okay. That just shocked me right there to see somebody say they're gonna switch over because of the team ownership. But I got it.
Oh yeah, I've maybe it's the people on my timeline, but they're basketball fans.
Got some dirt over there going on too in the Clippers organization. So.
Well, yeah, right. So, what are you saying, Warriors?
They got some dirt up there too. Their owners got some dirt too. So yeah.
Oh, no pro sports.
I'm just asking.
Take up knitting.
One of them got 17 banners up there. Got all these retired jerseys and statues in the front. Not the other two, but that's all good.
There is that. I'll always be a fan of Kobe, no matter what happens with all these super wealthy team owners and their dirty laundry. 800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in on any of the above. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
Where the overlooked become unmissable, this is KBLA Talk 1580.
Just in case you missed our Procrastination Crenshaw Town Hall.
I'm an Eat and Fire hero. I was trapped there January 7th, 2025, so I was awarded the Carnegie American Red Cross and the Kiwanis Lifesaver Award. So, to me, this looks like a slow burn. We constantly see Dr. Hardy, Pastor Caldwell, Mr. Smiley here. Their business is slowly impacted. Now, in Altadena, it was a quick burn. Everybody left. Everybody got priced out. They didn't have enough money to stay afloat. They couldn't rebuild their property. So, to me, this is a target for the developers. In my opinion, having been in Altadena for 18 months, still today, I still feed all of those people there because they're still displaced because they can't afford to come back. So what do? They move down to the Inland Empire, or they just call it a day and they go back to another state. So it's important to hold leadership accountable because as of right now, they've abdicated their responsibility. They just show up for the cameras and they don't even come to see you.
Keeping them in check. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The BLM Center for Black Power is a hub for Black activism in the city of Los Angeles, a standalone nonprofit affiliated with Black Lives Matter LA. The venue is home to live events, meetings, and organizing drives for Black-led community-based organizations. It is also the base of operations for Black Lives Matter LA. Built on what used to be a nuisance property owned by an arms dealer, the BLM Center for Black Power is in the heart of Leimert Park and has opened its doors to everything from youth organizers to toy drives to film screenings and community town hall meetings. To make a donation or make a request, please visit blmla.org. That's blmla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
It's never too early to start talking about money in realistic ways with your kids. JP Morgan Chase navigates how to educate your kids now about creating long-lasting, healthy money habits. Whether your kids are in elementary school, high school, or college, now is a great time to start a conversation about ways to create healthy money habits as they grow, ultimately benefiting their financial future. Talking about money in a realistic way to support your kids' lifestyle and dreams, your first banking account geared towards high school or college. It's never too early. Explaining the basics, what you earn and what you spend, building financial confidence starts with getting organized. Learning and practicing vital money skills now will stay with them for life. Tools they will have to stay on top of their finances and achieve their goals. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Another huge case is moving forward in California today. Less splashy than the Keefe D murder trial, but it is Meta, the owners of Facebook and Instagram, being sued by a bunch of state attorneys general, led by California's own Rob Bonta. They lost in New Mexico a couple of weeks ago, almost $1 billion, that loss, Meta. And the claim there, the New Mexico Attorney General Raul Torres, who's also part of this lawsuit, was that the algorithms intentionally addicted children and teens, that the app fostered child exploitation. Opening arguments are this morning, And they are trying to force the social media company to change Facebook and Instagram, change the designs. We could see a massive judgment. I mean, we're talking about almost $1 billion in New Mexico, which is tiny compared to California, right? And California is, leading 29 other attorneys general. So that's a lot. It's more than half of our states, obviously. This case was brought in 2023, but it's going to be argued here now, starting today. And there's a lot at stake for Meta because, first of all, they could, we're talking, could be billions and billions and billions. Experts are calling Meta the new big tobacco, right? Remember all the money they had to pay to mitigate all the harms that they did in addicting children and the health impacts on young people. They're calling it the new big tobacco. And if you look at the billions and billions that big tobacco pay, this is what we're talking about. But it's not only the money. Of course, the money is consequential, but it's also what changes can the state force to the design and the algorithm of these social media platforms. California is huge. It's like a country, right? And if they lose here, it's going to be a big deal, and it could be a lot of money. And, Mark Zuckerberg has invested a whole pile of money in artificial intelligence. They're saying up to $145 billion invested in artificial intelligence. Who pays for that? Facebook and Instagram. So if a judge says, you know what, you got to change this algorithm, you have to change the design of this whole app, it's going to cost them money, and that's going to be a problem because they're way out over their skis, as the business people like to say, on artificial intelligence. A New Mexico judge said they had to pay $567 million into an abatement fund because of child exploitation allegations. Another $375 million for violating the state's Unfair Practices Act. Of course, they're going to appeal it. And good luck with that. Maybe they'll get a Trump judge, or maybe they'll get all the way to the extreme court, and pay folks off. But it's not looking good right now, right? And with 29 states on the line, it's not just the fact that California is ginormous. It's also the fact that California is leading all of these other places that have the same complaints, including what they say are deceptive practices around safety and age controls, which we all know are just a big joke. That's one of the things they've been ordered to do is in New Mexico is make it actually have actual age controls that actually work. And the other thing they're on the hook for is lying to parents about just how dangerous these apps can be for young minds. So a lot is on the line in California today for your favorite apps, your Facebook, your Instagram. And if you look at the way, let's say, if you've ever tried to read an article that's has a paywall, if you've ever tried to get into one of your own accounts without your password and two-factor verification, you know that the internet knows how to keep people out of places they want to keep people out of. And that is not what has been happening. It's why I laugh when when you see people getting censored on Twitter, where you can post pornography and Nazi propaganda, but apparently certain left-wing buzzwords are problematic. They know how to stop what they want to stop, so when we see something not being stopped, we have to assume that is intentional. Good luck to the 29 state attorneys general in this case. Next hour, I'll be joined by my colleague, Dr. Nee Cordelai-Corte, and we'll take a look at the political landscape across the nation. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. The Tupac Shakur murder trial is now underway in Las Vegas. Prosecutors say Dwayne Keefe D. Davis orchestrated the rapper's 1996 killing. Chief Deputy District Attorney Binu Palau.
Dwayne Davis made sure that the shooters armed.
Defense attorneys argue the case is built on unreliable claims and fabricated details. Davis faces life in prison if convicted. A teenager charged in a shooting at Virginia State University has made his first court appearance. 19-year-old Cameron Harris is accused of injuring 5 people, and court documents link social media messages to the case. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for December. And Grammy-winning singer Jennifer Hudson will headline the 2026 Promise of Hope Gala, hosted by City of Hope, Orange County. The October fundraiser in Irvine will support cancer research, treatment, and patient care programs across the region. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
There's a problem with the Lakers' $12.5 billion sale to Joshua Kushner and former Disney chairman Bob Iger. Jeanie Buss, who owns 17.8% of the Lakers, is refusing to give up her percentage of the franchise. A court order in 2017 gave Jeanie and her 4 siblings the right to block any sale of the Lakers without their approval. The 4 siblings have agreed to give up their percentage, but Jeanie is holding out. The court order indicates that all 5 children of former Lakers owner Jerry Buss must agree to give up their percentage. Jeanie has gotten her lawyer involved and is prepared to go to court to resolve the matter. One of the issues is that Jeanie wants to remain the Lakers representative at the NBA Board of Governors meetings. The Dodgers pulled away for an 11-5 win at Colorado Monday night. 2 homers by Shohei Ohtani, a 3-run shot by Max Muncy. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.